Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with our Midweek Magic Event deck, and it looks like we are playing Alchemy again.
That is so fetch. Gretchen, stop trying to make
Alchemy
happen.
This is definitely not my favorite, but still, we will make a deck happen. So let's jump in to show you what we are playing for the event this week. So we're going to be playing a Werewolves deck for the event. Now, I'll be honest, again, I'm not big on Alchemy, so we only are really using 7 actual Alchemy cards. One, because I don't want to crack any other wild cards to purposely make Alchemy cards, and anything that I did acquire, I'm just working with what I got. Otherwise, the main focus, of course, is just to go on curve using our simple 1, 2, 3, 4 drops, 5 drops, just to go everything out and just overwhelm your opponent with a ton of value and powerful creature cards. Obviously, since we are playing a Werewolves deck, you want to hopefully ensure that we can flip from day into night side so we can get our creatures a bigger buff. They can do a little bit more damage. They can pretty much just put additional pressure on our opponent to ensure that we can get to victory as fast as possible. So just keep in mind that there are going to be those major weaknesses that you have to be aware of. Since we are focused on actually being a creature deck, you're going to have to deal with sometimes those control decks out there. And with the latest set of Alchemy cards that come out, we're going to have to deal with some of the more peculiar cards that some people are really big fans of right now. Otherwise, the deck pretty much is very straightforward. It's a creature heavy deck where you're just going to be as aggressive as possible. But otherwise, we have a light amount of support around our creatures. Cards such as Howling Moon to punish our opponents if they're trying to cast more than 2 spells on their turn. We can make additional wolves. Mephit's Euphemism is mostly just going to be our singular spot removal, and any excess damage we do, we can then give that buff to another creature that we cast on our next option. Unnatural Moonrise, only 3 copies of, but again, it does have flashback, so we can cast it additionally again if we have to later on. Our only main Planeswalker is Arlen the Pack's Hope, but again, it also flips over into a creature when it goes to the night side. And our other major way we're going to try to get a ton of value off of our creatures is to use Tovolar, Dire Overlord, flipping into the Midnight Scourge. Not much else really I'm just going to say about Werewolves, except, again, this is pretty much as simple as it gets when it comes to playing something aggressively, just trying to get as much damage as possible before your opponent can respond with either spot removal or a Wrath. But the good news is, as of right now, they did ban the Meat Hook Massacre, which means that we have a much better chance of evading Wraths. So just keep that in mind going forward with this deck. Otherwise, most of the land base is what you would expect that's available in Standard: Mountains, Forests, a Boseiju, Ahsoka Zin, Capsuline Forests, Rockfall Vale, Forsaken Crossroads. These are not essential for you in the land base, but I just threw them in there because I happen to have them lying around, and it doesn't hurt to have them if you're going to be on the draw. And finally, a set of Rivers Outlook, only just to make sure that we can get out our forests and mountains on time and get a little life gain along the way. If you just want to see how this deck works on a budget, I do actually have a mono green wolves deck that I made about almost a year ago, so be sure to check that out and I'll leave a link below. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started with some of our games. But real quick before we do that, if you do like any of the content that I do, please make sure to give a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the deck techs, booster pack openings, and gameplay that we throw out there for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some games.
Need me and my pack? Good luck. Gather my children.
that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone. And just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later!